Hey y'all, it's been a minute since I've done one of these videos. Hope y'all are okay at the very least. I figure I'd get a little talk out. I haven't been able to get over Dolly Parton's passing. You know, she was one of the biggest, brightest lights in the universe, a constant reminder to always do good, to never give up, to work on your craft, to work on being happy, to be the best human you could be by just giving as much as you can. I'm not sure if I'll ever get over that one, but today um, got the news that Tim Curry passed. And Tim Curry's just hurts on a different frequency than most people, you know. Even now when gender and sexual fluidity are supposed to be like the norm, and when people who still question it are the ones who look foolish. Back in the day, people were put in boxes in every sense of the word, you know, for who they wanted to be, who they loved, and how they wanted to live, and some of them died for it. I myself, I've always been eccentric, sensitive, open, imaginative, creative. I was writing songs at 7 with no music education, and those songs showed it. I had no idea how to play an instrument. I put on plays and performances for my friends and relatives, lip syncing to the hits of the day. I put on choreographed routines and full wardrobe changes. I was obsessed with Elvis, the Vegas era Elvis, the suits, the flash, the excess, the energy, the sweat, that train coming off the tracks kind of vibe that he had. He died when I was young, and he was the first death I remember being hugely affected by. At that point, I already lost several relatives, but it was a different kind of sadness. You know, the feeling of knowing that you never see someone again was strange to me as a kid, but it hurt more to lose somebody like Elvis because he was part of my identity. But now we're talking about Tim Curry. As a kid, I was obsessed with anything printed: magazines, newspapers, comic books, catalogs, anywhere I could see people in different positions, different outfits, doing the things that I wasn't doing, but I wanted to do. The daily newspaper where I pretended to know how to do the crossword, I would just sometimes just color it in. Sometimes I would just fit in my own words in the boxes, wherever the shared letters happened to be. I'd line them up, I'd come up with new words. Never mind if it made any sense, you know. I love the comic section. I love the sports page in the back. Spanish newspapers, my father would make me read out loud after dinner, so I'd learn some basic Spanish, even though I'd have to stop and ask him what a coup was, or a hurricane, or assassination, and you know, back in the day. And the horoscopes, God, I was obsessed with those, man. And I still am. But that was back in the day. But what I remember the most are the movie posters, like the movie ads. When you grow up being poor, having fun just means being outside until somebody scrapes a knee or breaks a bone or gets a bike stolen, or going to the movies. And my dad had no restrictions on what he'd take us to see, so I obsessed over movie ads. One I saw over and over was the one for Rocky Horror Picture Show. I fell in love with the font. It was something sexual, even though I didn't understand that. It was bold and fun. It enticed me, you know. Tim Curry in lingerie, dolled up like a cross between Dracula, Betty Boop, and that middle section of the Spiegel catalog that showed up seasonally in my family's 2-bedroom, 6-person apartment. Some of y'all know which section in the Spiegel catalog I'm talking about, and remember it as fondly as I do. But that image was printed into my mind because I never got the chance to see the movie early on. That was New Jersey, and things like that were kind of frowned upon, even though I didn't know what it was, or I didn't know why it was different. But I knew it affected me. I knew the feeling, like it was just like a feeling, a knowledge that anything was possible. I kept that feeling with me. It shaped my artistic leanings for the rest of my life, and I knew I wanted to be an artist of some kind. I knew I wanted to be a singer too. I knew I wanted to create things. By the time I was 8 and I'd gotten my hands on a camera, I was putting together like mini photo epics, not movies, but I would just shoot in movie style, like a comic book, and I would use my brother and sister's guinea pigs, writing, directing, shooting it, and starring in these photo blockbusters, usually about a singer or a writer or some creative type that was struggling or something. I was ripping off A Star Is Born, like Mahogany, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Rose, Times Square, The Idolmaker, Can't Stop the Music, Coal Miner's Daughter, The Buddy Holly Story, and even The Wiz. Anything with music in it, actually, I would try to kind of recreate. Eventually, my family moved to Dominican Republic, and I actually became a singer in a group. And then shortly after, I was in my first rock band. But it wasn't until, till my parents separated, like the 18th time, and my father came back to the States alone, that I felt the urgency to follow him. And my brother and I, 16 and 15 at the time, we moved into a studio apartment with my dad in Hartford, Connecticut, on Farmington Avenue, on the Ave, right next to the Hartford Dance Company, and a pharmacy that looked like it was 300 years old. I can't remember the name of it, but it was across some big insurance building in the middle of winter. I remember thinking, is this what I came back for? But Hartford turned out to be great. We made friends that we still have today, close friends. Eventually my sister and my mom came back too, and we were all back under one roof. And before that, my brother and I would borrow my dad's car. He had a Pinto, a Pinto. And we would drive with no license from Hartford to Manchester, Connecticut, to the sacred ground that was known as the Manchester Parkade. It was a strip mall with a supermarket and a bunch of other stores that I don't really remember. But on any given Saturday night, it was filled with cars, teenagers just cruising, loud music, drinking, stolen glances from girls. That was the whole ritual that we had. We driving in circles, listening to our favorite songs, laughing, screaming, having the time of our lives. And around the corner from the parkade was a movie theater. And on Saturday nights, they showed the Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight. And I remember the first time I saw it, like the way that everyone remembers the first time. There's nothing more magical to a restless, artistic teenager obsessed with David Bowie and Freddie Mercury and Prince, and then watching a horror movie, a musical story where the audience gets up on stage and performs alongside to what's on the screen. The 16-year-old, the 7-year-old that was still living inside the 16-year-old, the one that used to put on plays and funny clothes, and he watched a big door open, and out came a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania, the strut, the sass, the confidence. That was the first time I understood what it meant to be all you can be. That night became routine. In the lobby of the theater, they had a Simon-style game with colored buttons lighting up in sequence, and that would go faster and faster, and you had to repeat the pattern to win movie tickets. And I was born to play that game. Thanks to it, I saw Rocky Horror at least 28 times over a couple of years. So thank you, Simon. Thank you, Manchester. And thank you, Tim Curry. Around that same time, I realized that Tim Curry was also one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Times Square. He played a DJ, which was another dream of mine, to be a DJ. He was connected to two teenage runaways. And he was spinning one of the best soundtracks ever put on film. I could talk about the other roles he played, like Clue and Legend. Don't get me started on Legend. On his solo albums on vinyl, he's what I'd call a light expander, a wizard, a paver of roads that led me to exactly where I am today. A reminder to always go at things with gusto, to give it all, to walk into a room like you already own it. Tim Curry, bless you, man. Thank you for reminding folks not to get hung up by the way I look, and don't judge a book by its cover. Love you, man. Thank you for everything. High Revival, doing it.